Welcome to the Weather Briefings Winter Storm Outlook. This is for Wednesday afternoon. Today is December 19th. Once again, we're just running this video as an example of what you can expect if you sign up with Weather Briefings and our weather consulting services. Right now, we will take a look more so at more of the bigger stories that are happening throughout the country, especially the snowstorm that is coming for the Central Plains. So let's start there. Taking a look at a good portion of the United States. Here is the satellite picture. This is this afternoon and this morning's from probably about 9 o'clock till about now. It's about 3 o'clock Eastern time. As you can see, there's definitely a system that is forming. It's that low pressure that we've been talking about all week, as it's going to head into the Central Plains, cross over near or over Chicago, and then head off into the northeast. As you can see, there's a lot of, it's really starting to fire up here, and there's a ton of moisture available that will bring some pretty good rates of precipitation. Now the track, depending where you are, is the key to see how much snow you're going to get versus how much rain. I think for most people this will start off as a rain event, and eventually there will be a changeover to snow as cold air advects into the system from the north and northwest, and so some of these winds are going to be pretty substantial, with gusts up to 45, maybe even 50 miles an hour. So with that kind of wind coming through and coming with the cold air from the north, it definitely will bring a lot of snows, a lot of changeover from rain to snow. How much of that, it depends on how quickly it does change over. Some of the models are now suggesting that changeover is not going to happen so quickly, so we need to keep an eye on that. And I'm going to pull up the snow map right now. Now, this is our second map. We had our first one out as of Sunday evening. We made a few more adjustments, mostly shifted the precipitation a little bit north and narrowed down the higher amounts. Now, I did notice at lunch that some of the newer models were showing some opportunity for some significant banding, and in those areas where there's banding, we might see a little more substantial snows. And some places could even see some thunder snows. Even places like Chicago might see some thunder snows. So right now for areas like Chicago, we're looking at a coating to 2 or 3 inches, and as you head west and north, you'll see a little bit more. Central Illinois, you're really right at that point. You know, even Rockford, you know, you're really at that line where, you know, you'd be going from 3 inches to maybe up to 6 inches. And probably with those banding, let me just portion of the area right in here that might see over 12 inches of snow, where it's maybe 15 inches, 16 inches. It really depends on where that band sets up. So we have 2 more images, some better images here. Okay, so I'm going to get out of this picture here and show you a better version of our snow map. Before I get to this one, let me show you the Chicago area. Here we go, this is better. So, let me get the times in here. So, here's our map. Looks just like our smaller map, just a little bit better. And what we have here is the start times, a little more panned out for you. So, for the coating to 3-inch area, mainly Chicago and Rockford, like I said earlier, you're going to be really close to this 3 to 6 line. I'm not sure if you're going to get there. So just keep an eye on this. We're going to keep updating this map. And but right now, we're going to keep you in the coating to 3. And that's because the changeover probably won't happen until about 5 or 6 o'clock. And you're going to see some heavy snows. The way it's going to come down, you might even think that you might get a little more snow out of it than possible, but because of the rain, accumulations are going to take a long time to actually build up. That's why we're only taking a coating to 3 inches. As you head north and west, You're going to see less rain, quicker changeover, so that's why you'll see more snow. But like I said earlier, there's even the possibility for thunder snow for places like Chicago and Lake County and maybe even Rockford as this really gets going. But the 3 to 6 area, you'll start seeing a little bit earlier, the snow a little bit earlier, between 3 and 5. So that time difference does have a significant amount of effect on how much snow you will get. Now we can move over again back to the Michigan map that we were showing earlier. Okay, and real quick again, here's our line, 6 to 12 for northwestern Michigan, the center 3 to 6, and then a coding to 3 for places like Detroit and the surrounding areas. Again, our start time for this is 10 p.m. tonight and midnight, somewhere between there. You'll start seeing some of this precipitation. Moving along, we're going to go a little more long term, so we're going to pull up the long range models, get an idea of what's coming our way, because as soon as this one ships out, we have more shipping in. All right, this is our simulated radar. Okay, this is 7 o'clock tonight. As you can see, precipitation is really building up, heading towards the Chicago area. Should be experiencing maybe even a little bit of rain at this point. Now as we move through, this is Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Okay, and we'll move forward. Okay, here's Thursday, 7 o'clock. Moving through 7 p.m. At this point, for the most part, this should all be snow right in here. As the moisture heads to the north and east, pushing through. This is Thursday night. And pushes through for Friday. This should be out of the area by Friday morning or early afternoon. That's when people in the plains should really begin to start drying out. Moving to the longer models here real quick. All right, so this is after the storm has moved through. All right, this is Wednesday. Actually, we'll play it from Wednesday. Just real quick, want to go through the models, and then we'll close this up for you. As you can see, Wednesday's storm. Okay, again, here's the low. Tracking through pretty much Chicago. At this point, it's all snow. Moving to the northeast, they're getting hit a lot of rain and then some snow on the back sides or up west, northwestern New York as well. And then really quick, you'll see that pulls out. A lot of moisture up here on the upper northwest. That's going to come into play later on in the week. This is the Christmas storm that people have been discussing. Right now, it sort of looks like it's kind of losing itself here compared to earlier models. Again, now this one is right after the Christmas. Looks like there's something really forming. It's basically like a conveyor belt of storms. Boom, 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 one after another. Tries to ride the coast a little bit. Again, here's the blue 540 lines. This is the line you want to kind of keep an eye on when you're predicting snow and rain. And again, at the height of the storm, it looks like rain along the coast. As you work inland, there is some snow available. And then the next storm that we will be looking at will be for New Year's. Again, some significant rains back there. And then this rides up the coast for New Year's right here. Look at that thing bomb up. So just a couple of things to keep an eye on. This is what we do all day, every day. So it's just an example of what you'd receive in our daily videos, as well as phone calls and emails and storm alerts and outlooks. Anything we can do to tailor to your business needs. So for weather briefings, meteorologist Steve Kuznowski saying, have a good day.